Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday Coffee with Jigsaw, where we scan through last week's news and updates from across the Atlassian universe. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Biro. Good morning. We're the founders of Jigsaw, fast-growing marketplace partner building delightful project and product management apps for Jira Cloud. You can check out more about what we do on our website, jigsaw.io.
And before we start, the links for the sources of the topics that we are going to discuss today are all linked in the description or in the comment section below.
Yeah, so first piece of news, update, whatever you want to call it. Nikki is finally getting a well-deserved break. Yay! You've been working like a machine for the last 2 years in lockdown.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually going away for 3 weeks to visit my family in Czechia, so I won't be here.
And that means that she's not going to be making Monday Coffee with me for the duration of September, which I know will be heartbreaking for everyone watching. And I really understand you'd rather have me go than Nikki, but I reached out to our friends at AppFire, Adaptavist, and Easy Agile to get friendly faces to help me deliver Atlassian news over September. So next Monday, I'll have Cody from AppFire as a guest. Then on 20th, I'm joined by Sean from Easy Agile. And towards the end of the month, we'll have on Jari from Adaptavist reporting the news with me. A brilliant lineup, and I'm confident that they'll do a great job in substituting for Nikki. No pressure, guys.
Well, these are some really, really good guests, so I can't wait to see the Monday Coffees then.
That's brilliant. Okay, so then moving on to the first real news topic, although, you know, Nikki leaving is a sad news as well. On Friday, and this is serious. I promise this is serious news. On Friday, the U.S. Cybersecurity Agency tweeted an alert urging Confluence server admins to patch and upgrade to Confluence to the latest version. The tweet also mentioned not to wait until after the weekend, as attackers are actively exploiting a code execution vulnerability discovered in a previous prior version. Looking at the issue listed in Jira, it appears that this vulnerability was discovered and published using the Atlassian Public Bug Bounty program. Probably that's where attackers found the issue documented and knew how to execute as well. But anyways, the critical issue found in Confluence versions listed in the ticket was made public on 25th of August, advising users to patch as soon as possible. This vulnerability enables attackers to execute code remotely without authenticating. It looks like there are still many Confluence installations using the affected version, because last week the number of attacks have drastically increased, leading to the US Cybersecurity Agency alerting people about it. So if you're on Confluence server, ask your admin to check the version you're on and patch ASAP if on any of the versions affected.
Well, speaking of security, there are 2 bug bounty programs that are going public starting on 1st September, which means they will now accept submissions from all Bugcrowd researchers. And just a reminder, Bugcrowd is a security platform where researchers from across the world can go test apps and submit potential security vulnerabilities. There are many Atlassian security programs. For example, one of them is the Marketplace Security Bug Bounty program for Atlassian Marketplace partners like us. And as of today, there are 134 Marketplace programs, and partners who participate receive a security badge in their Marketplace listing. So by checking these badges on the listing, you can see if the app is enrolled in such a program. And the 2 programs that are going public are Atlassian Marketplace Vulnerability Disclosure Program and Atlassian Build Apps Bug Bounty Program. So the Atlassian Marketplace Vulnerability Disclosure Program is focused on the cloud apps published by partners and developers on the Atlassian Marketplace. And on the other hand, Atlassian Build Apps Bug Bounty Program is focusing especially on apps built by Atlassian themselves on the marketplace. And It's also formally known as the Atlassian Ecosystem Program, if the name doesn't sound familiar to you.
That's interesting that they launched this. I'm curious, do they still build apps of their own instead of implementing stuff in the actual products?
Yes, there are some apps that are being published on the Atlassian Marketplace by Atlassian, like a vendor. They have a name, Atlassian. So yeah, they do still publish. It's
also
usually like experiments, and then you see them moving into the Jira itself. So the example of that are Confluence playbooks. So they recently moved to some of the Confluence playbooks that were popular into the Confluence itself. So you can see things like that. I'm not sure how exactly are they using it, but this is just one example I know.
Yeah, it might be a strategy where things that aren't that common or popular, they would wind up in an app rather than as core functionality. All right, so this month on the 29th of September is the official World Heart Day. The World Heart Federation established this international holiday to inform people around the globe about the rising issue of heart disease and stroke. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death, and World Heart Day is meant to help inform and highlight actions to prevent and control. So, to bring awareness and help contribute to the cause, Atlassian has partnered with the American Heart Association to raise funds to go towards helping combat heart disease and stroke. You can help by donating on the page created by Atlassian on benevity.org, and Atlassian and the AHA Foundation will triple each donation. So if you donated $20, $60 will go towards the cause, because Atlassian will match your 20 and the foundation will as well.
Actually, I think that the cardiovascular diseases and stroke is one of the most common things for people who are sitting a long day behind the computer like us. It's quite accurate.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. So I've read about this the other day, and the way the day is celebrated is by also kind of getting up and exercising and walking a bit during that day, at least that day. You should probably do it every single day, but that's one of the activity that organization, companies, and people individually do over the day on.
Well, that's good. At least you raise the awareness and so on. All right, so moving to the next news. If you are a program, portfolio manager, or delivery lead who has a need to track work in Jira above epics, then don't miss out on this opportunity to speak to the Atlassian team themselves. Atlassian wants to understand better if there are any challenges related to customizing the hierarchy in Jira, and what exactly are people looking for. So you can sign up for a 1-hour customer interview session where you can talk about structure in your projects and organization, and as a reward there is a $100 gift card that you can use. And actually there isn't any sign-up form, or I didn't find it in the post, but you can leave a comment in the community post itself, and I'm sure that Atlassian team will get back to you soon.
This is super interesting because this has been one of the, I'll call it, Achilles heel in Jira. Basically structure and creating, going beyond the default structures, the different default taxonomies in Jira. So it's going to be interesting to follow and see where this leads, basically.
Yeah, I will be really happy to see something more flexible and ability to basically arrange your Jira hierarchy however you ever, then create the additional tasks like above the epics, like initiatives and so on.
I completely agree. I'm excited about that. Now, a quick mention. We now officially launched our partner program. Hey! Which means we're open to collaborating with solution partners as well as marketplace partners. So far, we partner with Ascend Integrated, eCore, and Yodokus, and we're going to communicate a bit about each individual collaboration in the upcoming weeks. Stay tuned for some pretty insightful live streams where we talk to our partners in a format that we call Jigsaw with Friends. Our partnership program is heavily focused on marketing, and we have some crazy good initiatives and perks for partners. So if you're interested, reach out using the dedicated page, and I can tell you about it.
Awesome. And you know that we are getting to the end of the news because we are usually finishing with the article of the week. So here it is. This week's one is really interesting article from the Atlassian blog called 10 Lessons on Using the Flywheel Effect to Grow Your Business. So the article explains in an easy to digest way how Atlassian achieved its growth over the years, and it gives 10 key tips that you should consider if you don't practice them already. So the flywheel model is based on a book, Good to Great.
That's my favorite book. Yeah, so if you want an insight into my brain and a bit of the culture at Jigsaw, read Good to Great book. I think that's one of my biggest inspirations in how we drive at Jigsaw.
Well, so true. And basically this article kind of explains that. So if you don't want to read the whole book, you can just read this article. So what that means is that you should build a bunch of small wins that you can interpret as a flywheels to gain the momentum, and then apply forces to go faster. And the more flywheels you get, less forces you need to use to speed things up. So, for example, flywheels in your business are SEO, social media presence, self-serve purchases for the customers, and the forces are freemium model, or improving customer and product experience. So go through the article and see if you can apply some of these tips in your company.
Yeah, and I would say you should still read the book. The article talks about one of the components that make good companies great, which is the flywheel effect. But there's a lot of other good insights, and also comparing companies, and that's one of the most valuable things in the book. It compares great companies versus companies that never became great. Right, and with that, we conclude this week. That's about it for news about Atlassian. I hope you enjoy Monday Coffee with Jigsaw, whether you're watching us live or recorded. Just a reminder, links to all the topics we discussed today are in the description, so don't forget to check them out. If you have any suggestions on what we should be talking about next week, let us know in the comments. And I'll see you next Monday at 9:30. Next time, not with Nikki, with Cody from Appfire. Should be exciting.
See you in 3 weeks.